is question of education. So the goal of the administration is to modernize the education system and ensure that it is diverse and accessible to Grenadians both home and abroad. We need to understand just how important the education is in terms of eradicating poverty. But when we talk about its accessibility, what we did was to introduce the question of free tuition. Free tuition is only one step to our goal of achieving free education. And this is outlined in Vision 75. And it's important that we talk about that because, let's face it, many of you received scholarships. Some of you went all over the world studying. And then after studying, come back home to Grenada, some of you may have been bonded. They can't pay you for the amount of years that you put in and the sacrifices. And so, oftentimes when we give the scholarships, the importance of those scholarships that we are giving, the importance of the investments that we are making in education should be so well thought out that it is aligning with the job market that we need. You can't give a man a scholarship, let's say for example, to build a podium, and we need that back home in Grenada. Then it doesn't make any sense. And certainly agree with me on that. So we need to be deliberate, we need to be intentional in terms of the curriculum that we want to invest in from an education standpoint, and we need to ensure that the people that we are turning out, that they are going to be productively engaged back into the Grenadian economy. So that is key in terms of how we see the education system. The other area I want to touch on briefly is the question of housing. The administration, ladies and gentlemen, is keen on ensuring that housing in Grenada becomes affordable and is constructed resilient to the elements. Now, many of you would have heard about Project 500. This is going well. We expect to complete the 7 or so models of Project 500, utilizing, and a key thing to be able to reduce the cost of the home is that of the materials used to construct the homes. Many of you in New York know about different materials that are used for the homes. And so we honestly believe that as Grenadians, you would be able to contribute in terms of informing government as to what we need to do back home to be able to build resilient homes, but to ensure that we use materials that are cheaper so that the cost of homes or constructing a home in Grenada could reduce significantly, and an ordinary man or woman, youth or senior, could be able to afford a home. Because there is another issue and side to housing in Grenada, and that is the question of rent. That is something that we have to discuss. And the final area, briefly, as I conclude, is renewable energy. Ladies and gentlemen, we aim to diversify the sources and the supply of energy, and we believe it will help to drive the cost down. So it's not just about announcing that we find oil and gas, but as Brother Naz said last town hall, it is to determine if we have it, how do we exploit that resource to benefit the nation, and then at the same time, manage our own selves, not to become as how larger Caribbean territories have become with their oil and gas and producing and emitting the carbon, but to ensure that we are responsible as a nation and bridge the finding or discovery, if it is there, of that oil, and bridging it, with renewable energy. So the government in this budget will be investing in 2 projects. We just read it out for you so that you get an understanding. So there is a geothermal project for renewable energy right now ongoing in the lovely constituency of St. John in Grenada. I'm certain not many of you know about that. We are allocating $3.6 million towards ensuring that this becomes a reality. But the thing with these investments is that they take a long time to materialize. And so when we talk about having patience, this is the basis to which we speak. It's not to say that we are just going to go into government and be able to do everything immediately. Do this immediately. Some aspects we can implement. The pension, in terms of the backlog. The bi-monthly, in terms of workers' rights, etc. But there are other aspects that we have to take some time out to build, and to ensure that when it is built, it is done in a way that everybody can benefit, not just the now, the present, but certainly and most importantly for the future. And the other area is that we are going to be doing some solar upgrades. The Lingley solar PV plant in Caribou was severely damaged after Hurricane Beryl, and the government is allocating at least $1.6 million to be able to restore that. There is another project. But the Fox is clapping. Yes, give a round of applause for that. And so the other area now is to ensure that our international airport, MBIA, Morris Bishop International Airport, is going to be fully outfitted with solar panels. This will significantly reduce the cost of energy down at the airport. And if you heard earlier on, as I come to a close, the ability of Grenada to be able to, or the capacity, sorry, of our energy facility to be able to generate the megawatts to push development in the country is severely limited. And so when we talk about renewable energy, the need to diversify the energy source is probably the number one aspect that will be able to help to drive economic activity. Because if we get rid of the dependence of what we have currently and diversify that, we will be able to do so much more. The laboratories, the factories, the things that we need to roll out, even our schools, the general hospital, the new teaching hospital, even hotels, the investment there, that is being stymied because we do not have the capacity to generate sufficient megawatts of energy to power it. And so, when we talk about Vision 75, it seeks, ladies and gentlemen, to address those concerns. So that's where we are going with the whole question of our vision. Of course, there are more, but in the interest of time, I'm going to stop here. We will certainly take questions, and we look forward to a fruitful evening of debate, discussions, and so that we can continue to formulate good ideas to help benefit Grenada, Caribou, and Petit Macou. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Brother Ron Redhead, Member of Parliament for St. George's Northeast. I suspect that you digested what he has said, and you're more armed to understanding what's happening in Grenada, to understand how you can participate in helping in development. So another round of applause for Brother Ron. Our next presenter, and remember there will be a chance to answer questions at the end. Our next presenter is Brother Andy Williams, who is the Member of Parliament for the Great South, officially known as St. George's South. He's also the Minister of Mobilization, Implementation, and Transformation. Yes. The one who is responsible for making sure that things do happen as they're supposed to be in Grenada, Caribou, and market. So, a round of applause for that. So, we welcome to the podium Brother Andy Williams.
Thank you very much, Brother Cox. And good evening to everyone. Brother Cox, I didn't tell me last night the chapter was right there. The gentleman I come here today and I say good evening. I get a warm, big good evening. Don't let me down. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much. First of all, I want to congratulate the NDC New York chapter on a successful election. Let's give them a round of applause. And this afternoon I got to meet the new executive, and it was a wonderful meeting. We were able to highlight some areas on the way forward, and how we can move forward in a more collective unit and with purpose. And in anything you do, you have to do it with purpose. That's when you get true results. And Mr. Cox and the new executive, I have the utmost confidence in you in moving this chapter forward. The New York chapter is the most vibrant chapter and is the one that everyone looks up to. So it's important for you to lead by example, and I trust you will do just that. But already you spoke about the unemployment rate in Grenada, and you are correct. The last survey we did, the rate was about 12%. But I can tell you, I can bet you, that the rate is already in single digits. Why? Because you cannot get workers. Let me repeat. You cannot get workers. You have character to build back, and the reason why it's taking a little time is because you cannot get workers. You have St. Patrick's to build back after working there, and the reason why it's taking so long is because you cannot get workers. So when you hear something games politically, tell me about Grenada had, it's a lie. If you're not working in Grenada, it's because you don't want. What we have done, what I have done, I've gone to the blocks, to the guys who smoking and drinking on the block, kick them out. And some of them are now painters, they have built a company, and they are working now, hiring people to feed themselves, feed their families, and also people who are looking for employment. So we are on the way up. And when you see these young guys from the lines and the valleys, they're coming out and actually working, not begging, working. And if the screen was up, I'll show you some of the work that we are doing in Grenada. As a matter of fact, after this meeting, I have a nice picture to show you of one, and I was looking at it last night. And they were working on some house, and they painted everything. And the job was just so magnificent. You know, we will comment on these guys and saying that they are lazy and all these things. But sometimes, if the system doesn't provide a way for them, they will fall along the wayside. And it's easy for us to get caught up in the politics of trying to tear one another.